The 49ers week went from good to great after their win in LA. Now they sit atop the NFC West in a great position while they may be getting some reinforcements here soon. We'll discuss that. Plus, we'll nominate a 49K player of the week on today's 49K pod.
You're listening to the 49 Carats podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Monday, October 6th. A victory Monday. We're still buzzing off of Thursday's win. Don't get it twisted. Weston, how you doing today, man?
I'm great, Steph. I'm great. We'll talk about it at length, and you talked about it in your intro. Sunday was just more enjoyable because there was no pressure of a 49er win or loss. And then dominoes fell throughout the weekend, which was fantastic. But I'm excited, but I'm also ready to eat my own words from last week when we were discussing the potential outcome of Thursday night's game. So
True. And, I did address that in my post game on Thursday, to which, I don't feel too bad about. I still stand on the fact that, I think me thinking that the 49ers weren't going to win was just, me kind of being realistic and not trying to be too much of a homer by saying that they would. And I'm happily wrong, right? I think we're all happily very wrong about this one. And I think it just taught us that we can't overlook this team. We can't just assume anything on any given week, no matter how bad it might seem. They might have did themselves a disservice because now my expectations are up here for the rest of the season.
I can't disagree with you. I think the only thing that you can truly say with confidence is this is a drastically different team mentality wise than it was in 2024. Evident and obvious by every one of their 4 wins so far. And then especially this one, like you said, I think any knowledgeable football fan would look at how the Rams were playing so far this year. Their lone loss, by a blocked field goal at the end of the game against the defending Super Bowl champions, and the 49ers coming off of a loss, literally limping into a short week on the road. I think you'd be naive to think that you could believe the 49ers have a shot, but to confidently think they were going to displace that Rams team for sole possession of first place in the NFC West, I don't even know if the thought actually ever crossed my mind that it was within the realm of possibility. But if that's what it takes for the San Francisco 49ers to win, I will gladly hop on your show every single Monday and I will talk smack about my own team because all I care about is the result. And if that yields the positive result, I'll be the sacrificial lamb. You muted yourself, Steph.
Yeah, there was a plane passing over. You know what Mac Jones said after the game, that Kyle Shanahan came up to him and talking about how they were such underdogs for this game, and it pissed him off. And it's all right, if that's what it takes, if you can just play like this every time you're the underdogs, I mean, this is exactly kind of the type of mentality that we wanted from this team this season. You're gonna be the underdog, all season. Maybe not as dramatic as going into that Thursday night game, but I think that's the mentality that they should hold every week going forward. Just having that, I'm trying to find the phrase, the back to their wall, and having a fight, scratch and claw for everything that they want. I think that's a favorable position for them to be in, just based on what I saw on Thursday. It just looks like a team that, showed a lot of grit, showed a lot of fight. I think especially they're not going to go down without a fight in any game.
No, I think they're in an enviable position, to be honest with you. And the proof, there's evidence in the Kyle Shanahan era of this. Think of that 2019 team. Nobody thought that 2019 team was going to be that 2019 team, like at the start of the season. Halfway through the season, it was like, oh, these guys haven't lost a game yet. Maybe they are for real, but they're not 100%, like they weren't this anointed team like they were coming out of the 2023 season or in the 2021 season, or as I like to call it, the year of Debo, when this team like had no identity halfway through the season and they were counted out and then found themselves, being taken lightly and riding all the way to the NFC Championship game. So I think that's a position where a lot of football teams and football and just athletes in general, I think they would prefer to be discounted, to be the underdog, to be overlooked. Like there's something about professional sports where like a chip on the shoulder is an absolute requirement to go to the promised land as a team or as an individual, like you need to face adversity to understand what's at stake, like whether it's in your personal life, whatever it is. Like I always say to my wife, I was like, look, well, I'm really proud of what we have set up for our family, but like our kids are never going to play professional sports because they'll never have to, you know what I mean? Like that's not their ticket. Like these individuals and then these teams, when they face that level of adversity, I think that is a preference, especially when they reach the pinnacle of playing in a professional sport. You'd rather be discounted so you can come in. You have something to prove. If you still have something to prove, you will go achieve it. And we'll talk about a single player when we get into the player of the week that really had something to prove and really went out there and proved it.
It reminds me of the Chiefs who play tonight. It's Monday Night Football here. Shortly, remember like when Travis Kelce, like it was either when they went to the Super Bowl or something like that. He's like, no one thought we'd be here or something along those lines. And it's like, dude, shut up. Everyone, literally no one doubted you. But it's just sometimes you got to manufacture that chip on your shoulder to, just light that fire under you. So I agree. I think this team has it and maybe rightfully so a little bit, right? They're still figuring a lot of things out. But man, I think as we've been saying for the previous 4 weeks before this one, that I think it's telling us a lot about this team that they could be dealing with so much and still have positive results, still have success. It's showing me a lot of good things about this team that I wouldn't have never guessed at the start of the season. We got this question from Angelo who asks, is Mac Jones injured with his leg? Well, yeah, we did see Mac Jones a little bit hobbled on Sunday. We do have, Thursday, we do have a clip from practice. This was posted by Matt Lively of CBS, who, as you see here, Mac Jones is with a knee brace at today's practice. It looked like he was participating in some fashion, but, maybe not a full participant. Like he wasn't really doing much here, but he does have his helmet on. Brock Purdy, on the other hand, did not practice today. In fact, I think this is a good segue into our injury discussion, Weston. So we did get some updates since Thursday night's game on some injuries from last week or from previous weeks that we're tracking, and then also a couple new ones. So on Brock Purdy, as far as today goes, he was not seen at today's practice. Neither was Ricky Pearsall. Neither was Juwan Jennings. I did see someone else say Juwan Jennings did have his helmet with him right before, I guess, like the beat writers did exit the field. Remember, beat writers can't stay for the entire duration of practice. So maybe Juwan Jennings did practice in some capacity. We'll probably know more about that later in the week. George Kittle, Kyle Shanahan was asked about him a few days ago, did say he's a long shot to return for week 6, probably more likely that, he's back for week 7. And remember, he's on injured reserve with the designation to return, but they're taking it slow, I'm guessing, for Kittle. He was seen working on the side field today on Monday, so that's a great sign, I think, for, just him progressing in the right direction. And with the way that Jake Tunges is playing, I mean, we'll talk about Jake Tunges a little bit later, but, with him playing at the level he is as a pass catcher, I think and let's face it, 49ers are 4-1. George Kittle can sit on ice, so to speak, another week. Then Malik Mustafa coming back from his ACL injury. He had his practice window open. Remember, he was on the PUP list. So the 49ers now have 3 weeks to activate him from this PUP list. So with the practice window opening, he can practice with the team. He can return between now or, within those 3 weeks. But they're going to see how he practices first. But it's good to have him back on the field. And as far as some other injuries, D. Winters wasn't seen at practice today. Not sure why. Kyle Shanahan didn't mention an injury for Winters after the game, so something to keep an eye on this week. Upton Stout has an ankle injury, though Kyle Shanahan did say it's not a high ankle sprain, so that's good. Probably will be reevaluated at some point this week. Alfred Collins has a knee injury and will be evaluated this week. Kalia Davis broke his hand. He'll have surgery today. This afternoon. So I would guess maybe that means he probably misses week 6, but and probably plays with the club maybe after. Yetra Gross-Matos has a hamstring injury and will miss some time. That one's kind of a blow. He's someone who was generating some pressure with the few snaps that he was getting as a rotating piece, just very effective. Which, I kind of want to bring up the question, Weston, is it time that the 49ers do start to entertain some trades? Did this win on Thursday sway your mind at all as far as, all right, I've seen enough, let's actually get somebody in the building?
Yeah, 1,000%. And I'm like, and this win means a lot. And I think a lot more than people even want to. I know it's still early in the season. I know it's only a full game in, first place compared to the rest of the division. Why I think this win is significant is, Steph, you saw what you just had on the screen, right? The injuries are not going away. Now you're even more depleted at a position that you were already depleted at along the defensive line with the likes of Kalia Davis and Gross-Matos and even Alfred Collins. You have to imagine at least half of that page is not going to be playing this weekend against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, would be my guess. There's a few that I think just won't even practice. Like, they'll barely get reps this week, because this is also what happens to a depleted roster that then also has to play a Thursday night game. Like, they just need a moment to breathe. You know what I mean? Like, they just need to get their feet underneath them. It was a tall order. But to your question, did this convince me to make the move? It did. And why it's convincing me to make the move is I think our eyes were just reopened to what Kyle Shanahan is capable of when he is asked to lead, meaning like, I think at this point, and a lot of this Rams game was due to scheme early in this game, letting them, spot a lead and get out in front. And I think I think that's when Kyle's at his best, when he feels like he's got to be in his bag. He's got to draw it up. He's got to win the game, not the players, right? Like, having it done his way. And if you could steal a few more wins, honestly, nobody in the NFC to me looks unbeatable, right? Like, and how often do you say that? Like, so that being said, I think you have to capitalize while you can, but you do it intelligently. Like, I don't know if you go make a big splash on a rental. I think you just shed a lot, right? I think you need to make a splash, but somebody that will also be here to be paired with maybe a returning Nick Bosa next year, because, you still need depth along that line, even outside the rookies. So, like, the investment is now, but can you parlay that into something that will also benefit you in the future? But I would say, coming out of that win, yeah. And if John Lynch is convinced otherwise, then he's fooling himself.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, there's a wide range of options, I think, that would require a wide range of draft capital, right? That you have to give up. There's some like the Trey Hendrickson's obviously at the top. Then you got like someone like an Arden Key that's on the other side of the spectrum there as far as draft capital goes. So it really depends, like, where the 49ers want to be, how much they want to allocate. To your point, Trey Hendrickson would, of course, be a rental. if it means like you feel like you're a Super Bowl contending team all of a sudden with a Trey Hendrickson, then yes, like that's kind of the kind of price you'd be willing to pay even for a rental. But if they don't want to go that far with it, they don't have to. There's many options in between. Well, let's see where the 49ers stand at the NFC West. They're at the top. They're at the top. This feels and looks really good. So now the 49ers have a pretty commanding lead of the NFC West as it stands, sitting at 4-1, 3-0 in the division, 3-0 on the road. The Seahawks, pretty much all the teams lost in kind of heartbreaking fashion, I would say. The Arizona Cardinals lost to, who'd they lose to again? It was like that heartbreaking.
The Titans.
The Titans.
The winless Tennessee Titans.
Who hadn't won a game.
And they handed it to them. You got your coach losing his shit on a player for fumbling going in the end zone. They're like, this is what losing two consecutive games against division opponents by last-second field goals will do to you.
That was
make
nuts.
You unravel. Yeah.
That was nuts. They had that game. I mean, an inexcusable mistake by DeMercado there, letting go of that football before crossing the plane. They're now 2-3, the Arizona Cardinals. And then we know the Rams, of course, had a heartbreaking loss at the hands of the 49ers. And then the Seahawks lost to the 49ers week 6 opponent, the Tampa Bay Bucks. And I like the Bucks. I like Baker Mayfield a lot. He's maybe one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So I just have a ton of respect for him. That's going to be a really tough week 6 matchup. I'm looking forward to it. You saw how many points the Seahawks and the Bucks put up, and the Bucks are dealing with a number of injuries themselves. So I think it makes things interesting for next week. It's going to be 2 battered and bruised teams, 2 teams that just came off some big wins, and 49ers will have the advantage of rest, that's for sure. But also they'll be traveling to Tampa, so things kind of even out when you look at it like that. As it stands in the NFC, there are 4 teams that sit at 4-1. The Eagles, who finally got their first loss handed to them. There are no undefeated teams in the NFL anymore. The 49ers, the Bucks, and then the Lions. The Packers, who were on bye week this week, are at 2-1. So they're number 5 in the NFC. Who would have thought? Weston, did you think at the start of the season, through 5 weeks of the season, the 49ers would be 4-1? I mean, they did have an easy schedule, but you also figured anything could happen, right?
I never, I know we talked about it, Steph, but it's hard to like buy into strength of schedule to me, because these teams can be so different from year to year. Look where the Kansas City Chiefs are. Look where the Baltimore Ravens are right now. Look what the Indianapolis Colts are doing, right? And they were written off for dead bringing Daniel Jones in. Like, it's year to year in this league. It's week to week in this league. But no, I never expected this. And in this fashion, I think what's most exciting about it is the way that they're winning the football games, right? I think Kyle Shanahan has had a propensity, the games that the 49ers win, they get out to a lead early and they sustain it, and they almost play the second half to not lose the football game, right? Like under Kyle Shanahan, that's what we see a lot of. Well, every one of their wins has been a game in the second half that they've had to battle. So it's not just the record, it's the manner in which they won these games. Like, I hate to be redundant, we definitely didn't see this last year, but we didn't see, I think the last time, like 2019, when they used to call them the cardiac kids, right? They won a lot of close games, like towards the end of the season. That might have been the last time where you saw like that true battle all the way down to the wire, a la week 17 on the road in Seattle to lock up the number 1 seed. Like, a lot of it was just, like 2023 was, the 49ers, I just feel like every game they won, they just got out in a hurry and like never looked back. So it looks different. It feels different. It's nail biting. It's more exciting, but never in a million years based on just injuries alone coming into the season, that I think more impressively, like 3-0 in the division.
Yeah, that's very impressive
Yeah.
to have that this early in the season as well. And just one little tidbit from Sunday's game, the 49ers now under Sean McVay, the Rams have beaten the 49ers just 3 times in their last 13 games and have never done so by more than 6 points. So 49ers have a pretty strong hold in this rivalry, if you would even want to call it that. I know in the last maybe season or two, the Rams have had some wins sprinkled here and there, but make no mistake about it. I mean, Kyle Shanahan has historically owned Sean McVay, and you kind of just sense that how hot the 49ers came out of this game, going up 14-0. The first drive was spectacular. I just think we knew this was going to be different, right? And different in the sense that of what we thought this game was going to be, but it was going to be the same as what we've always seen the 49ers play against this Rams team, which is dominant, looking to kill, So I love that. Not only if Kyle could play like he's the underdog every time, but if he can coach like he's coaching against Sean McVay every week, I mean, they might go undefeated.
I mean, I wish he would get up for every game the way he gets up to go against LaFleur, McVay, like the old drinking buddies that grew up in this league together. Just like, I am still floored at this outcome. So like I had to go into Manhattan on Friday for work. Ordinarily, if the 49ers playing on Thursday night, or Sunday night, whatever, like you can forget work the next day. I'm up, I'm having a good time, like it's not happening. I was texting with my sister and she's like, "You going in tomorrow and to work?" And I was like, "With pleasure." You know what I mean? Like that's the cloud that I was on. No sleep, rolling in on an early train, full day in Manhattan without giving 2 Fs at all. I gave 0 Fs because I was just like, I don't know, like I don't like to say stuff like this, but it could argue like it's a top 3 Kyle Shanahan era regular season win. Like it just
100%.
is. It just is just given the circumstances, like, and it was wild, and the roller coaster and the sequence of events that had to happen to get it there. But Steph, you make a great point about like first drive looked good, right? Like it 14-0 early. Like it was looking real good where I'm like, oh my goodness. But like, yes, the players have to go execute, but those first 14 points belonged to Kyle Shanahan. The offense was super simplistic for execution purposes. The sky's like always in motion and whatever. Mac wasn't asked to do a ton getting the ball down the field. It was put the ball in the hands of the players in space. And they just like methodically downfield where I was like, holy shit, am I actually watching this right now?
Right. Yeah.
I was floored. It was awesome. It was awesome. And I hate riding this high for a regular season win, but it literally is carrying me for 10 days till Sunday.
Well, I think it's going to be a win that carries this team for a lot longer than that because I think it builds callous, it builds belief. And Kyle Shanahan, was kind of asked about this game, it being like a regular season, how special it was. And he did say, quote, all the things that went into it and just the injuries and stuff and overcoming so many things and guys making those plays at the end, which were unbelievable. I think all that ended up and made it one of the more special ones that you'll definitely remember for a long time. I mean, yeah, this was an instant classic in my mind as far as that we'll remember within the Kyle Shanahan era forever. So, yeah, definitely a memorable one. And with that, Weston, I mean, do we start with our nominees for 49K Player of the Week here? Let's do it.
I think we do. I think we do.
I think that means I'll let you start first this week.
I don't know if you want that, but I'm in. I'm game.
Go for it.
This one is directed towards our good friend of the show, Mr. Jason Aponte. It's Eddie Pinheiro. And how is it not Eddie Pinheiro?
I like that.
4 of 4, 59-yarder, second longest field goal in franchise history. Dude has been on the team for 4 weeks now at this point, for being 3.5, because that's a short week that they even played in. 2 of 2 for extra points. Take the 100% accuracy out of it. Yes, he kissed the inside of that post in overtime. I didn't even watch it. I just covered my eyes and listened, because I was like, I'm just traumatized from the Jake Moody era. And this is not, you know what, not fair. This is not a dig at Jake Moody at all. This is all about Eddie Pinheiro. The swag that he's brought in, the confidence that he's instilled in his special team unit, right? His little group, it changes the entire complexion of a football game when those things are made. If Jake Moody was the kicker, anybody was the kicker, and they go 3 for 4, 49ers lose the game, right? Like, it's 4 for 4. It's the manner in which he does it, his career long at the end of a game, then a long shot in overtime. I just think that allows Kyle to do certain things if you're confident in trotting your kicker out there to not kick 60-yarders. That's not Eddie Pinheiro's game. I don't even think Kyle was confident that he was going to make the 59-yarder, but he's like, hey, the guy's hot. F it. Let's see what he's doing.
Why not?
And why not, right? And boom, he's aces. But I just think this changes the outlook every single week for the San Francisco 49ers when you have confidence in your kicking game. That matters, right? Drives in the NFL, if you want to win, you need to score on more drives than you don't, right? And sometimes a field goal is just as efficient depending upon, situational ball and where you are. But Eddie Pinheiro has been money since the day he stepped on the field for them, and never in a bigger moment in his tenure with the San Francisco 49ers than this week. There's a lot of players that had good games, and we're going to talk about all of them, I'm sure, but I did not want to miss on the opportunity to say, Eddie Pinheiro, we are building the statue for you, I promise.
Eddie Pinheiro, Eddie De Niro, he's been clutch for the 49ers so far. And as Benali says, since he's joined the team, he's accounted for more points than the margin of victory. They lose every game without that guy. And you also have to think about the fact that this game especially, being everything having to do with the yardage, the points, like every single bit of it mattered in this game. And for him to convert those field goals into points, especially the 59-yarder, was, incredible. And you look on the other side of it, the Rams, they missed a field goal pretty early in the game. They had their extra point blocked. Like all those things make a difference in the grand scheme of it, right? So special teams, I know special teams is still not great, but Eddie already has improved it just on his own. Like I don't think we can discount that fact. So yeah, definitely appreciative of what he's doing. Definitely appreciate his energy. Like he has a lot of confidence out there. I love to see him get pumped up after hitting those field goals, and especially the 59-yarder. Just great stuff. Yeah, I didn't think you would go with the kicker this early, Weston, but hey,
Right out of the gate. I honestly, I have my whole list written down. He's not even on my list. I just was like, I remember. This is like emotion and pure moment now that I'm like, we're rehashing out the game. And Benali's 100% right. Like, God, where would we be in the win-loss column if it was another kicker other than Eddie Pinheiro right now? Like, and you mentioned the swag, like, what a refreshing thing to see somebody walking around with confidence than the person who, even when they were making field goals, was just always like, goof face, just goof, like Eli Manning, mouth breathing dummy type face constantly on his thing.
Whoa.
It was.
Weston went from like, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Moody to like completely.
Hey, I didn't use his name. You did.
All right. All right. Fair. Okay. I'm going to go with another guy that, I do think had a game-changing play in this game. I mean, we know it. Alfred Collins. Alfred freaking Collins. he played his highest snap total of the season so far. Best graded game on PFF for him so far. He had an 85 grade overall, 92.1 on run defense. That's incredible. That's what you want to see out of your rookie who has been improving each and every week. And it feels fitting for it to come in a game where, he had this forced fumble in the fourth as the Rams were knocking on the door. We're talking about a completely different game, possibly if that happens. So, and I appreciate that he used the strength of the Hulk is what I was saying. It was like a Hulk smash on that ball. But first he hit Kyren Williams in like the helmet, inadvertently. He wasn't trying to go for his head, but just off of dude just winded back and just was gonna hit whatever he could and knock that ball loose. I mean, you hear the sound of him hitting that ball, or maybe it was the sound of him hitting the helmet. But in any case, it was definitely enough to jar that ball loose and get the recovery as well. So I mean, it was just a great performance from him. I love to see these rookies look like they fit in.
Yeah.
And not just in the 49ers, they fit in the NFL. These are going to be guys that are going to be successful, and it feels good to have those guys on our team. We've seen glimpses of it from a lot of these guys already. I think Alfred Collins is just yet another one of them. So again, it just feels very fitting. And for it to come in a divisional game in such a big moment means even more to me.
These are just confidence stackers. You know what I mean? For someone like Alfred Collins, like even the other rookies, CJ West, all these guys, Michael Williams, they're getting all this burn on the line right now out of necessity, right? And he played 40 snaps. That's a lot of snaps for a big man on a short week coming off of, I think it was his previous high, right? Like it just keeps stacking more every week. And we're going to remember the Hulk smash, right? As we're going to come to know it. In all fairness, I know everybody's killing Al Michaels. I was like Al Michaels, other than my eyes, caught the 49ers defenders going bananas. I was like, wait, why are they all jumping around? That ball must be loose. The TV camera angle does not show that. I didn't even realize he punched him in the face until the helmet. He didn't punch him in the face. He punched him in the helmet till the next day when they were showing all the different angles, nor do I care. But here's a guy when he talks about it afterwards, he says, I just was gripping and ripping, right? He was going to get by me. I just was doing everything to keep him out of everything within my power to keep him out of the end zone. That's the mentality. That's the fight. That's the dog, as all the youngsters want to say in this man. And let's not dismiss that, he's helping shore up against the run game. He's learning a move or two to get some pressures. The product is better every single week. And then it just becomes legendary that you force the fumble and recover the fumble on the goal line, that if you connect the dots, won the San Francisco 49ers the football game. That was the big – Kyren Williams walks into that end zone. You and I are probably not as cheerful as we are right now on this Monday evening talking about this game. Because it's just Steph, I know you felt this throughout the entire game. 49ers get up and you're just all right, coaching's only going to mask so much. The Rams feel like the better football team right now. They're eventually going to get theirs. And as they started to get theirs, you're here we go. I really was having this conversation. I was I'm going to stay up till midnight watching this game to watch my team lose. I'm already mad about it. You know what I mean? And there's still time to go. And then, the blocked extra point and then stripping the ball going out, before going into the end zone, you're wait a minute. These are crazy football events that say the 49ers might actually win this football game. And that was a big one in a big moment. And that is going to build this man's confidence for the remainder of the season. Let's hope injuries don't derail him from playing this week, because he will be needed against this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team.
Yeah, and as mentioned before, he has a knee injury and he'll be reevaluated this week. But yeah, just to kind of piggyback on that, the timing of it couldn't have been better, just because there was about a minute left in regulation, to the point where before that play, I was literally thinking to myself, do we just let them score here so we can get some time to
Yeah.
score on the other side? Like, those are the thoughts that as a fan start going through your head. I mean, as a coach, as a team, as a player, I don't think you all think that. Clearly Alfred Collins did not. What he thought is, I have to find a way to end this, and that he did. So yeah, great performance by the rookie. Weston, who's your next nominee here?
It's Kendrick Bourne. And here's what, Steph, we talked earlier, I alluded to it, right? Where you're like somebody with something to prove. We know Kendrick Bourne is a live and die by his swagger. He's very vocal. He's very active on social media. So that sets him up to be this massive target when things don't go. He's very flashy and showboaty, and all the reasons that we love him are the low-hanging fruit reasons why you can hate him if performance doesn't follow. And against the Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously he was not up to snuff. And now he's coming in, no Pearsall, no Jawan, Mac back under center. Yes, they have rapport. And what does he do? He goes out and plays maybe the most productive game of his professional, NFL career, with 10 receptions for 142 yards. It wasn't all pretty. It wasn't all flashy. It was a lot of grit, but good on Kendrick Bourne rebounding.
Yeah.
That shows the importance and significance of two things: having a short-term memory in professional sports and having the utmost belief and confidence in your own ability. Those things show up on game day, and they showed up for KB. I mean, like, he did not find the end zone, but another guy that you can just as easily say they don't win that football game without the production from Kendrick Bourne. And it was all game. It was literally from start to finish. He showed up even in overtime.
I heard you say this might have been the best game of his career. It was.
Yeah.
Career high in receiving yards, tied his career high in targets and receptions, but yardage, definitely was. 10 catches on 11 targets, 142 yards. 8 of his 10 catches helped move the chains. So that's everything. In order to move the ball, I mean, you really got to get some of these catches going. A number of those came on third down. We always say Kendrick Bourne was our Jawan Jennings, or Jawan Jennings was our Kendrick Bourne. What is it? Kendrick Bourne Jennings was the Kendrick Bourne before.
No, Kendrick Bourne was the Jennings before Jennings was Jennings, is what I think you're trying to say.
Yeah, whatever people say. So like having that role in this offense is huge, being that reliable guy. And just like, obviously we see the connection that he has with Mac Jones. I mean, those two guys just seem to be on the same page all the time. And you can tell right out of the gate, Bourne was looking to bounce back, as you said, from the previous week, make it up to us, like in that he definitely did. I think even after the game, he made a comment about that. So yeah, it was definitely an admirable performance, and one that, as long as, these wide receivers are unhealthy, like, Bourne is going to have more of those performances going forward. Again, we'll continue to check the status on Pearsall and Jennings. Hopefully they could return in week 6. But in any case, I feel like Kendrick Bourne has earned himself a role to be like the wide receiver 3 right now and get some looks. I know Demarcus Robinson has gotten snaps as well, but maybe Kendrick Bourne, with the chemistry he's shown with Mac Jones so far, maybe you feel good about rotating, Robinson, Bourne. I feel really good about what Bourne has put on tape so far. So I think, it goes a long way. Definitely, as you said, one of those guys that they couldn't have done it without. So
yeah, and I know Demarcus Robinson is a really sneaky good route runner too. So I like when he is on the field, he is really good at finding space and especially in zone coverage, just like settling down, and that's being a vet, right? And playing in multiple spots and understanding things. But maybe the receiving core is not as bad as we thought it was.
It gets the job done.
Yeah.
It gets the job done. And Weston, it especially helps when you have my next nominee here, a running back who can catch as good as Christian McCaffrey can. Just 57 yards on the ground on 22 carries. We're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about the 8 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown on 9 targets. I mean, we talk about how badly like the 49ers have needed guys to step up in the wake of some of these guys being out with injury. I mean, Pearsall and Jennings, those are important guys, and Christian McCaffrey through these first 5 weeks of the season has contributed heavily as a pass catcher, right? And it helps when you're one of the best, if not the best route running back that's out there and possibly ever. Yeah. I mean, that touchdown was great. Yeah. I mean, that will always be open for a guy like Christian McCaffrey and just his ability to get open and, a quarterback's ability to find him at all times is always a good strategy, right? So I got to give some credit to McCaffrey for helping keep this offense afloat as well, just as much as some of these other guys. I agree. It's been a group effort, but man, I mean, it'd be hard to do what the 49ers are doing without McCaffrey's contribution in the pass game right now.
It's his contribution and his presence, right? Like they matter equally, right? Like as long as Christian, we said this a lot about Debo last year when statistically he was down, was like, but him just being out there means you have to account for him. And I know you said you don't want to talk about the statistically what Christian McCaffrey is doing in the running game right now, but it's because it's not pretty, but it's not all Christian McCaffrey's fault. I know we've all talked about, or it's widely concerned, or, fans are concerned. Has he lost his step? Is he explosive? And I would say no. And the evidence is what he is providing in the passing game. Yes, have we not seen the long run for McCaffrey? Yeah. But what is he going to burst into a wall? The gap isn't there. You know what I mean? There's nothing to burst through and show that I still have it. That will come. That will come as the threat of the passing game continues to increase for the San Francisco 49ers. I still think teams are coming in saying, hey, we take away the run game, we shut down Kyle Shanahan. And we've seen with Mac 49 pass attempts in a Kyle Shanahan offense is wild when you really think about it. But you don't win any of these games without Christian McCaffrey. It's the totality of the production, 139 total yards, gets into the end zone. And it's his mere presence on the football field that matters. And I am now slotting him in as another wide receiver. That tells me maybe the wide receiver room is adequate because he's part of that conversation right now because of the production in the passing game. And he's scoring touchdowns in the passing game. That matters. And big chunk plays at significant times in a game, screen passes, whatever it might be, where he's just reminds you oh yeah, we have Christian McCaffrey too, what a luxury we have in the backfield, right? My concern, Steph, is the same as everybody's. 30, another game, 30 more touches, right? How long can he hold up? Even if, I don't care if you're 100% healthy, that's just a lot of usage and work in the National Football League. But I know we want to complain about that. But the truth is his presence on the field has been a necessity in every one of these games at the rate that he's been out there.
Well, I do think also there's probably little less of wear and tear on the body if you're running routes, if you're catching passes, rather than if you're running into walls, right? Mm-hmm. And in this case for the 49ers, brick walls, right? He's not getting much daylight on some of these blocks. So you almost prefer that that he finds this role as a wide receiver and that it's working well for him. But I agree, I do have that concern as well. Would like to see a little more consistency from Brian Robinson, but that won't come again until the run blocking improves. Yep. I suspect we see that improve when George Kittle is back. Just really quickly before we get to the next nominee here is that, I mean, he's also opening things up for other guys, as he always does, because of, as you mentioned, his presence, right? His gravity. On the Jake Tunges touchdown, you see Christian McCaffrey just shift over to the left, and the backers shift just a little bit, ever so slightly, enough to create more of a hole for Jake Tunges to just sit and get that touchdown quickly from Mac Jones. So yes, it's more than just the stats. I mean,
it's what Kyle Shanahan is the absolute master of, manufacturing space through movement, through whatever. And it's all down the tree. After Shanahan, it's McVay, then it's LaFleur, it's his whole guys, even McDaniel, manufacture space. You know what I mean? Like, and they're so good at it. But you're only as good as the threat of the player moving. And Christian McCaffrey is as large of a threat in the National Football League as you get.
All right, Weston, who you got next?
It's Mac Jones. I mean,
I was waiting how long it
was it go. Not Mac Jones? 33 of 49, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns on 1.5 knees for basically half of the game. Only took a single sack. And Steph, it's not what he accomplished, it's the manner in which he accomplished it. I know this is your show, and we're a family-friendly show here on Monday night, but he got his ass kicked. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat it. That man took a beating. Yeah. And you know what he did? Got right back up, limped into the huddle, walked it off. I don't think you can. I know you can, and I know a lot of your listeners can, but you need to take a moment to appreciate what that does for the morale of the team when you see a guy just literally giving everything. And especially your offensive line, when you're like, he's hurt because of me right now. Like, I might not be better than the guy across from me, but I'm going to do everything I can because that man behind me actually deserves it. He willed this team to victory this week. Look, there's no quarterback controversy in San Francisco. It's fun to talk about. There's 260 million reasons as to why there's no quarterback controversy in San Francisco. It's fun to fantasize. I always say that your team is only as good as your backup quarterback, but I learned everything that I needed to learn about Mac Jones in this game and then after the game. After what he did, had just accomplished what he did. We talked about the gravity of this game for the 49ers. To point blank answer the question saying, I was brought here to be the backup. All I'm trying to do is win games for Brock. This is his team. This dude is just depositing money in the bank for next year wherever he goes because he is going to get a bag and a half because guess what?
Oh, yeah.
It's all over the NFL of people resurging their career. You mentioned Baker Mayfield. We're all fans of Baker Mayfield except on Sunday because he resurged his career. You know, Sam Darnold. Guys, Sam Darnold played a hell of a football game until a Sam Darnold thing happened at the very end of the game. But prior to that, my God, he was fun. Like, he was phenomenal. And he has resurrected his career. And now you see the tape that Mac Jones has put out. What an awesome spot for the 49ers to be in. As long as he can stay a little bit healthy, that lets them bide their time with Brock and not do something moronic like rushing him back if you don't need to. Mac proved to me he is the perfect backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and he is the perfect teammate for what this team needs right now. Like, Mac Jones, you freaking stud. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was so awesome to watch.
I mean, this is the best backup quarterback that the 49ers have had under Kyle Shanahan, right? It's paying off big dividends where you're not seeing a drop-off in production from your starter to your backup. I mean, that is a hell of a luxury. And you just talked about the fact that, you know, the 49ers are going to be able to take their time now with Brock Purdy and what could be, you know, an injury that could linger. Well, you don't want it to linger, right? Yeah, so let's just nip this in the bud now. Like, let's get him to 100% without a doubt so that he can come back and return as a starting quarterback. And in the meantime, you feel really good about what Mac Jones can do and provide for you. I mean, he's operating this offense at an incredible clip, just exactly as Kyle Shanahan intends it to be. A lot of short, quick passes, which we knew he was going to have to do in this game against the Rams. 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Protecting the football is a big deal, especially in a game like this when we talk about the margins being so small. The drive late in the fourth quarter to put the team up 23-20, then an OT, getting the team in position to hit the game-winning field goal. It just feels like he's made for situational football and being on a script, and he's trusting the process, right? And he kind of talked about that as well after the game, just the trust that he's finding in the system now, and him not having that before, which is that's the example, right, of all of these other guys who have come here before and as you said, resurrected their careers. I guess there haven't been that many guys, right? But you think about Darnold, Mac Jones certainly is going to have an opportunity to do that next. And remember, this is a 2-year deal for Mac Jones. I don't know if he's going to stay for the whole 2. The 49ers have, I guess, the choice, right, of if they want to keep him for the second year. But I think no matter what, you're going to get more for Mac Jones than you probably got for Trey Lance. And you should feel good about that from like John Lynch, just from a team management standpoint. That's a hell of a deal right there. Not just that. In the meantime, you're getting wins, and that is huge. So yeah, Mac Jones deserves a hell of a lot recognition this week for that performance.
I would say, Steph, and I don't think I'm alone in this camp, but I just said there's no quarterback competition in San Francisco, and I believe that. I think the only thing that throws a wrinkle in that is if this Brock thing lingers another 5-6 weeks and Mac is winning, I don't think you can make the switch, because now you're like reinventing the offense in some capacity and reinventing the camaraderie and the rhythm and the timing and everything that has built in the weeks leading up to it at like a really critical point in the season that I don't know if that's a prudent decision. And I still say that, saying there's no controversy. I'd say I would just roll with Mac till the end or till you can't, and just knowing that the reins always will come back to Brock Purdy for the future. And I don't think there's a way that you keep Mac Jones a second year, because if he plays this well in the absence of Brock, I mean, you're parlaying him into a second round
it's like
pick,
a second,
you know what I mean? Like
maybe even first.
Yeah. That second round pick plays for you next year, where Mac is just insurance for the year. You know what I mean? But it's a luxury to be in. I've always said this I've said this 100 times on your show over the years. The team's only as good as the backup quarterback. And most of the time when you're having a backup quarterback discussion, it feels like the season's over. Look what's happening in Cincinnati right now, right? Like literally just falling apart at the seams by a single player being out because they don't have the production behind them. It mattered. Like it matters. We're lucky. And wow, does that look like the most prudent move that the 49ers made this offseason outside of convincing Robert Saleh to come back?
Whew. Yes. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. Every move the 49ers made this offseason is proving to be a pretty damn good one. Some of them came a little late, like the kicker one, but hey, we'll take it. We'll take it whenever it happened. I don't have any other nominations, Weston. I think we got a pretty good list right now.
I'm good.
All right. In that case, we have our nominees. Anyone that's with us in the live chat, make sure to drop your votes for either Eddie Pinheiro, Alfred Collins, Kendrick Bourne, Christian McCaffrey, or Mac Jones. In the meantime, I would like to give some flowers to a certain player. And, Weston, this is actually, you might have had flowers for this player too, because you actually did talk about this player last week, Mr. Jake Tunges.
Mr. Jake Tunges. Let's go. Let's go.
He's been a nice revelation. And, and it's not like this huge revelation, right? But he's very serviceable, very, very serviceable. And that's something the 49ers haven't had from a TE2, especially as a pass catcher, since they've had Kittle. Like they're just, Warner Charlie Warner wasn't much of a pass catcher. Dwelly, he had some peanut butter Dwelly time moments. Yeah, but like I think what we're seeing from Tunges is just like there's some consistency there, and he just has I think you were talking about it last week. Like, kind of like the way he moves. He's able to score, like around the red zone. If he's getting the ball, he's scoring. Like, you just kind of see that, right? So I like what he's done in these first few games. I mean, you kind of called it, right? He was going to have some involvement in this one. So yeah, some flowers for Jake Tunges.
You damn right, I got flowers for Jake Tunges after that game. Just kind of. He's making me look like a hero out here, like just talking about him, singing his praises. He's in the Kyle Shanahan era. He's the best tight end 2 from a receiving perspective that they've had. The blocking will come with playing time. The blocking will come when he will have his partner in crime, number 85, out there with him on the practice field, doing these things, talking technique, learning things. He's young. He moves. And he fits what this offense is trying to do when the ball is in his hands. Another one who's been sneaky good at taking advantage of the space that Kyle Shanahan's creating for him. And this ain't the first time he's found the end zone in the 2025 season. I just think I'm really excited for when George Kittle and Jake Tunges are out on the field, because he's not Swiss Army like Kyle Juszczyk is, but I do think there are moments where the playbook opens for you if Kyle Juszczyk is not on the field, where you can call similar-esque things because he has some similarities in his game. And I think he's a better receiver than Kyle Juszczyk is, and Kyle Juszczyk is a heck of a receiver for a running back, specifically from the fullback position. I think they got themselves a gem in this third-year player here that was kind of like slept on. I know Brad Graham is loving this coming from UCal Berkeley. Like, that's got to be his guy. I'm sure he's all over it, but you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that's disappointed in his play so far this year. And I think Thursday was just the pinnacle of what we can expect from him week in, week out, even if Kittle's there. I think he just – I think Kittle's presence makes him more prominent because you always want to scheme 85 out of the game, you know?
Yeah, people are going to forget about Tunges. I feel like they're all – like the defense is not worried about Tunges right now, like, and that's why you see him get these favorable looks, especially in the red zone. They're looking for guys like McCaffrey. When Kittle's back, they're going to be looking for Kittle. So I agree. I think – it will give this team a little more flexibility as far as their personnel groupings. And then you kind of could play the matchup game a little bit better when, Kittle comes back and you have Kittle and Tunges, and you keep Luke Farrell maybe in blocking, little 23 personnel a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, great flowers for him. Anyone else to give flowers to? That was pretty much it for me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's some people who had some good games. Fred Warner had a great game. I think Marquise Siegel played better than a lot of people would give him credit for. I'll say that. I think we're good with the list we got.
I'll say this. There isn't anyone I'm putting on notice this week, which is great. I mean, that's a good sign right there. Weston, who are you voting for this week for 49K Player of the Week?
I saved the best for last. It's Mac Jones.
I say Mac Jones as well. That is your 49K Player of the Week for Week 5. I mean, it meant the world to get this win in the division in the fashion that it came, and gutsy from Mac Jones, just doing it hobbled again. Yeah. I mean, major props. Some of these guys wouldn't be on this list if not for Mac Jones, sitting in the pocket, taking hits, doing what he needed to do to get the ball out. So very much deserving, I think, for Mac. And that'll do it for our show. I hear there's a Monday Night Football game on right now.
Go Jags, because we don't root for the Chiefs on this channel.
The Jags, yeah, Chiefs and Jags.
Hey, it makes our loss to them look even better, right? If they're out there beating the the
I,
top
I suppose it
team.
does. I suppose it does. All I know is I need a hell of a performance from Xavier Worthy in one of my fantasy football leagues, and a terrible performance from
Is he
Xavier
playing,
Worthy. And
Steph?
yes, he is.
Okay. I
Yeah,
thought that he was
exactly.
questionable like late, right? Like didn't he
He
find the
was. He
injury
was.
report late in the week?
He was. And
Okay.
so I did pick up another. I picked up Hollywood Brown. Worthy doesn't have any targets at this moment, so I might be screwed. So I'm gonna go check that out. So with that, that concludes our show for today. Make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, not just mine, but Weston's as well. That is Island 49. Hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. Audio listeners, leave a rating, leave a review. But for now, folks, have a great rest of your Monday. And for now, peace.